Well, earlier I spoke to Malia Bouattia and I began by asking her if she regretted delaying the NUS motion condemning ISIS.
I don't regret my actions. In 2014, a motion was brought forward to our National Executive Council, which had some problematic wording, which blurred the lines between condemning ISIS and holding all Muslims accountable for their actions. I spoke against the motion, promising to bring another to the National Executive, which I did, which was clear in its condemnation of the group and extended solidarity to the Kurdish people, and it was voted through unanimously. So really the attacks that followed and really the total lies that have been published across the media and the attacks that followed through social media are totally unfounded.
And to be clear, you have no problem condemning ISIS?
Of course not. I've always condemned ISIS and I will continue to.
I suppose the problem a lot of people have is that you delayed this motion condemning ISIS because you were concerned about the wording, and yet you've moved very swiftly to back other motions, similar motions, condemning Israel, and people are worried there that there's a sort of double standard.
Absolutely not. When it comes to the case of Israel, we condemn the human rights violations, the violations of international law, and the continued oppression of the Palestinian people. And we're very clear and specific in doing so. It is not a particular targeting of any group.
Now, you've said that you have a problem with Zionist politics. Given that Zionism, when it's boiled down, is essentially about the right of the State of Israel to exist, does that mean that you have a problem with the right of the State of Israel to exist?
I have a problem with the continued occupation of the Palestinian people for them being stripped of their rights.
Do you have a problem with Israel per se?
I have a problem with Israel violating international law and its continued treatment of the Palestinian people, certainly.
But Israel, where it exists now, is that problematic to you?
Israel, as it behaves, is problematic to me.
You would feel it would be OK for you to say about yourself that you were anti-Zionist?
Yes, I would.
So let's talk about another allegation. You claimed that, to use your phrase, Zionist-led media presented the Palestinian resistance as an act of terrorism. Do you defend Palestinian violence? It's not for me to condemn Palestinian violence. What I do is support international law, and under international law, people under military rule have a right to self-defense. And I think that there needs to be, that we need to ensure that there is always engagement with such discussions. So in the past few weeks, you've been the subject of really quite a nasty media campaign. Yeah. Why do you think it is that they've targeted you? It's no surprise that Muslim women elected into a national position will receive such extensive national attention and quite racialized and sexist abuse over social media. We're at a time where if someone like me shows opposition to the Prevent strategy put forward by the government in comparison to the hundreds of other academics and trade union leaders and civil society groups and human rights organizations, I'm the one that kind of bears the brunt of those attacks and is particularly targeted and seen as a national threat. Do you think, given what you've said in the past and things you've been on record as saying, the media was legitimate to pick up on those allegations and sort of throw them at you? We're clear as an organisation that we're absolutely opposed to ISIS, but being a Muslim woman in the limelight, in holding a position of power, has meant that it doesn't matter that there are total untruths to it. I will still be banded as an ISIS sympathiser. How's it felt being on the receiving end of all that? It's been very, very difficult. It's been incredible to see the overwhelming support from the movement and from, across society and family and friends. But it's also been very difficult given that my parents have been personally, harassed in their home in Birmingham by media, that they've had to see the death threats, the rape threats over social media, and thought that
that they'd left Algeria with the intention to protect us and to ensure that we thrive and succeed in education here in the UK, only to be met with this once we do reach those positions of success.
Malia Bouattia speaking to me earlier.